And then you press something, yeah, something come in.
Okay, I think we're ready to start. We're going to go to James Cole from Sky Sports.
Made of the 3 Sri Lankan players being suspended and the videos of them breaching COVID protocols?
Well, I haven't actually seen the videos. I've just found out, obviously, before I've come into this press conference that that's been the case. Obviously, we've got our own measures we have to deal with. We have a COVID security officer who basically tells us everywhere we go what we can and can't do. Durham is an area apparently that's quite high in terms of the level of COVID. So we've been told that we couldn't go to like restaurants, coffee shops. So we can go out for a walk here, but not across certain areas of, we're only allowed in certain places. So it's a shame for them. It's a shame for their team. But, speaking from our point of view, we have been told the areas we can and can't go. So we're just sticking to that, really.
Is it a concern when you see the opposition aren't necessarily taking the restrictions as seriously as they should be, particularly given the sacrifices a lot of people have made?
Well, yeah, but I don't know what their team measures are, what they've been told. I only know what we've been told from our team point of view. And I don't know if theirs is more relaxed than ours, or if they're happy to do that. I don't know if every team's different. But from our point of view, obviously, we've took this pretty seriously in terms of actually appointing a COVID security manager who tells us, before each game and what we can and can't do. And at times, it is hard for some of the lads because they want to get out and do things. But in a hotspot like Durham, apparently we've had to, ease it down and be a little bit more rigid compared to somewhere else that we've been. I mean, Southampton, we were just in the hotel. Cardiff, we could walk around the docks a little bit. So everywhere's been slightly different. So it's just in terms of Durham, because it is higher, we've been told that we have to, be a bit more vigilant.
And you're happy that the game goes ahead, that all the measures that have been taken are correct?
Well, I am. From an England point of view, I'm pretty happy. I think it's always, if you look across sort of football and other sports, there's always been cases have cropped up here and there. Obviously, there's a case that's cropped up in our game in cricket, but I'm hoping that nothing changes and we can just get on with the game.
And it's been a pretty torrid tour so far for Sri Lanka. Have you been surprised how much they've struggled, and what are you expecting them from in this one-day series now?
I have been surprised because they've got some top players. Obviously, they're a side who, when I was growing up, you had some of the greatest names in the game. So they're maybe a side that are transitioning a little bit, but they've still got some very, very good players and ones that we know are very dangerous. They beat us in the World Cup recently in 2019, which was, we were heavy favourites for that game and we lost. So we can't drop the ball here. We've got to stay on it and make sure that we're putting in another good performance because they have got some top-class players.
And finally, from me, are they providing fierce enough opposition as you prepare for a World Cup later in the year?
Definitely. I can tell you from bowling at them, I feel like at times, if I'm off a little bit, I've been hit for 4 and even a couple of 6s. So we've got to make sure I'm on it. I think we pride ourselves in our performance. So as long as we're doing our things right and keeping our standards high and our intensity high, then that's what it's all about.
Thanks, Mark. Go well.
Cheers, James.
Cheers, James. We'll go with Rory Dollard and Lizzie Hammond. Go ahead, Rory.
Hiya, thanks, Woody. Not talking specifics about the Sri Lankan lads, obviously, because that's all for them. But on a personal level, does the fact that you don't really drink, does that help you stay focused in these tours? And there isn't that necessarily temptation in a way to get out and test the limits a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my family with me as well, so that's been quite nice that they've come in the bubble. They've left now and gone home. It's quite frustrating actually being so close to home, but actually being in a hotel as well. So that's a bit strange for me. But most of the other lads seem to do that when they're away from home as well. So I think, just trying to, act as within the guidelines that we can and be as normal as we can. But for me, not drinking or anything like that doesn't really come into it. I think it's just trying to find ways. I mean, we've done this quite a bit now. We've made some good sacrifices. We've done a lot of good things. it's just you sort of get into a routine of what works for you. A lot of the lads are playing Call of Duty and things like that, and just trying to find ways to keep your mind and your body physically ready for the matches, really.
On sort of cricket matters, what does it mean to you when you get the chance to go out at Durham at the Riverside and wear the England colours? You know, what does that occasion mean to you? I mean, last time you did it was the World Cup. You sort of booked your place in the semi-finals of the World Cup, and you got a few wickets. So it was a nice memory there.
Yeah, so I remember that fondly. Every time I come in here, I have a huge smile on my face, especially, you know, with England colours on. It's a proud feeling coming back to the Northeast and seeing the ground. And I've got to try and contain myself a little bit around the lads, or they'll be taking the mickey out of me a bit too much. But I absolutely love coming back, and you know, hopefully I'll have a few family and friends here watching the game tomorrow. And I'm really hopeful that I can be in the team and play another game here at Durham. It's a pretty special place for me to play. The fact that I have to go south after being at Chester Street to the hotel is a bit weird for me. Normally I'm heading up north to Ashington, but it's just lovely to be in the area and represent the region here when I play up in the Northeast.
Nice one, cheers.
Thanks.
Okay, Lizzie, and then John.
Hey, Woody. Obviously we're in a World T20 cycle at the moment, and that's kind of the focus for this year, followed by an Ashes. Is it more difficult to feel the intensity for 50 over cricket, knowing that that's kind of the next cycle and the T20 is your current focus?
Yeah, I'll see what you're saying, but probably not. From my point of view, I've missed so much cricket that actually playing sort of any format for me is you know, really special. I think as bowlers we're rested and rotated quite a bit to make sure that we're fresh. But in the 50 over cycle as well, with the new format, we have to make sure that we're winning games in this format as well. Otherwise, when it comes to that World Cup, we could be in a pretty tough group. So we're going to have to, you know, look at this just as much as the other two. I know the other two are pretty important, but any game for England's important. So I'm thankful that, you know, I'm involved in this squad, and hopefully, you know, at the end of your career, you don't say, oh, you know, I was rested from them games or whatever. You look at the games you did play. So I'm hoping after a lot of injury problems, I can put as many games on the table as I can.
Brilliant. Thanks, Woody.
Thank you.
Okay, John.
Yeah, are you bowling pretty well at the moment? I mean, your pace was good during the T20s. Are you happy with the way you're bowling?
Yeah, I feel good. I've, you know, strung a few games together, playing for Durham first, obviously then the test matches. I thought I kept my pace up during the tests as well, and then in the T20. So I'm, you know, I've backed up a lot of games now. I think the most since maybe 2020 and 2021 amongst the squad. So it's good to see that I'm playing games and, you know, performing and you know, if I can contribute to us winning games, that's what it's all about. So that's the type of ball I want to be. I've always said that. So if I'm taking wickets and trying to take the important wickets, that's the key.
Where would you be with back-to-back tests? That's back test, right?
Sorry, say that again, John.
Where would you be with playing back-to-back test matches? That's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I just played back-to-back against New Zealand, so I was pretty happy with that. Played back-to-back in Sri Lanka. So, you know, I think that's to people that sort of doubted that, I've come a long way with the sort of physical side of things in terms of my routine. I've got a good routine, a good thing with the physio, with the strength coach, nutrition, the bowling coach, and I think I'm, you know, a bit more older, mature now to say when my body isn't quite feeling right and not just pushing through it to play another game. So I think having that sort of good communication with everyone has led us down sort of this path where I have played back-to-back test matches. I played back-to-back 2020s, was rested for the last one, not through any injury or anything. So I'm in a good sort of physical and mental space that I want to try and keep this sort of going. And like you said, my form feels okay, pretty good. So if I can keep that going as well, then I'll be happy.
Okay, we'll go Dean Wilson, and then we'll finish with Dawn Fulis from BBC Newcastle. Go ahead.
Hi, Woody. The issue with the Sri Lankans has brought into focus the issue of bubbles, I guess, generally. There's been some chat about what England might expect in Australia in terms of maybe not having families out there and the kind of conditions that you would face. Have you thought about what sort of conditions you wouldn't be too happy playing in terms of bubble life in Australia?
Not too much. I think the only thing I've thought about that is obviously it'll be very hard without your family and things. It's certain with a young son and part of his life that is very important when he's on school and stuff at the minute. So just from my point of view, it'd be hard to see him, but we'll just have to see how it turns out. It's part of being an England cricketer, and that this is the sort of times we can't help COVID times. That's the way Australia are running things with their government, and they've run it pretty successfully in terms of their COVID cases. So if that's the way it is, then we'll have to see the decision later down the line. But it would be hard, of course, to be without your young family for such a long period of time.
It sounds like that would be a serious decision you'd have to think long and hard about.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of the players would. I think would all have to speak. I mean, we're all around similar ages, and with young families and things. So it'll be discussed. It'll never be taken lightly. And Ashes is a massive deal. One of which we'll be going out there. We want to try and win. So we don't want any distractions or anything like that. We want to, when we're going there, clear with what we're doing, with whether it's we're there for 4 months in a bubble, or it's slightly different. We'll have to have that sorted before we go away, so that we've got a clear mind of bringing the Ashes back.
And I just wondered as well on that subject. I mean, obviously, sad news with Ollie Stone's injury, and obviously we know that Jofra's had his injury issues. Are you kind of prepared to lead England's pace attack down there if necessary? I mean, there's a great plan for at least 3 really quick guys, but I guess we've seen that's not necessarily best plans and all that. It might just be on your shoulders.
Oh, just ramping the heat up a bit there, Dino. Feeling me back a little bit now, getting a bit tense. No, but I think, look, I'm sure the other 2 lads will be back. I've been through injury problems myself. It's never nice. I really feel for Stoney, because during the game he mentioned to me that his back was a little bit stiff, and I didn't think there was anything worse than just stiffness. And to see that he's got a stress fracture again is really sad for him, and I'm really disappointed for him. Obviously, Jofra has had his surgeries coming back, so I'm sure the kind of guy he is, the determination he's got, and he's a naturally fit guy anyway, so he'll be back with a bang. And to have got anyway, there's more lads that you could add to those 3 young fast bowlers coming through. So at the minute, I guess I hold that sort of position, one which I'll be trying to keep a hold of, and thanks to you, I'll be doing it with a bit more added pressure.
Yeah, go well, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Dave. Last question from Dawn, please.
Hi, Mark.
Hiya.
Hiya. I know you've already talked about playing at Durham, but they've got 7,500 fans in tomorrow, because it's going to be a test event, so more than they'd initially sort of planned for. That's probably about half the capacity, but that's a big crowd at Durham, and I mean a lot of local cricket fans can actually see some international cricket for the first time in a long time. How important is that for you to put on a good display for them?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I feel like I'm from Northumberland, play here at Durham, but I feel like I represent the whole sort of region, as does Stokesy when he plays as well. Obviously Cumbrian lad, but he comes across here. We don't just feel like it's just this small pocket in Chester Street. We feel like the whole area. So we're hoping to do them all proud. Hopefully we can inspire a few young kids around this area to try and whack it like Stokes, catch them like Stokesy, all that kind of thing. Try and bowl fast like myself. So it's always great coming back, and I absolutely love it. It's great to hear that there's more people coming, and they get to see the game live. And my accent might just get a little bit broader when I hear a few fans in the crowd.
And finally, because I missed the very beginning, I'm sure you were asked, but how frustrating is it as a player when the COVID bubble rules keep getting broken and essentially put you all in danger?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned before, I think as long as we're sticking to what we're told, we do have a COVID security manager or a head guy who sort of tells us what we can and can't do. And we were told that in Durham, it's particularly high, so we have to sort of back off a little bit. We weren't allowed in, obviously, restaurants, coffee shops, or anything like that, not even sit outside, anything like that. So we've just gone to, strip it right back, and unfortunately that's the way it is here, but it's only for a few days. So as long as we can focus on the game, then that's the main thing.
I guess when it's the opposition that it's happening to, that does still put you at risk, doesn't it?
I guess I feel like cricket's obviously slightly different in the fact that it's outdoors and we're well apart and things like that. We concentrate on ourselves. So I think it's disappointing from them. They're pretty good players as well. Unfortunately for them, that it's happened too. So they've obviously dealt with that internally. I don't know if they've had slightly different rules or whatever, but it's just that unfortunately the way it is, and we're going to have to make sure that we're doubly on it now, because little slips like this can put the whole thing in jeopardy.
And I guess it'll make them less competitive as well, because they're three guys who would have started the game.
Yeah, but it also gives an opportunity. It would be like the same for us if someone went down. It gives an opportunity for someone else to come in and do really well. And I'm sure the lads that weren't originally going to play, they'll be desperate to do well and prove a point. With everything that's been going on for them, they've lost 3 games, and they'll be desperate to put that right. And I'll be trying to make sure at my home ground that doesn't happen.
And I guess there's also a problem with some of the officials as well, because I gather some of them have tested positive. So it just shows how quickly things can change, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think with COVID in general, I think we try and we spend time in dressing rooms together while you're so close and things like that. But I think anything can happen quickly, and then your close contacts and things like that. So we've just got to make sure in and around training that we're right on it. And this is just a reminder with the officials, that they probably haven't done much wrong, but because that in the same area, that close contacts, that unfortunately the whole thing goes down. So just another reminder to us to make sure that we're really on it when we're in and around training and around the ground.
Mark, thank you very much. Hope you have a really good day tomorrow. It looks like the sun's going to shine, so it should be fab. Cheers. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good afternoon. Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Danny,
Yeah.
it's Dawn here. I'm just checking that I've got the right number for you. Can I send you an email and just check your number with you, or send you a little message at the bottom here?
Yeah, I'll stick my email address on the bottom here now.
Right.
Why didn't you tell us, and I'll shout it out?
Danny.Rubin at ecb.co.uk.
Because the last, well,
there you go.
Oh, right, excellent.
There you go.
Yeah, the last number I've got for was when you were at Yorkshire, so it might have changed since then.
Yeah, it'll definitely changed since then.
Right. Okay. Cheers. Thanks, Danny. Cheers. Thanks, Mark.
Bye.
Bye.